Nancy Pelosi and AOC ready for a parlay. Pharmacies pushed 76 billion opioids into America. Planned Parenthood out of win in abortion fight. I'm JAMAL Simmons, and this is why you should care. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez plan to meet today after several weeks of escalating tension. The freshman from New York told CBS This Morning's Gayle King that she would absolutely be interested in a meeting with the House Speaker. The offenses go back to the days right after the 2018 election when Ocasio-Cortez joined a protest at Pelosi's Capitol Hill office. But the beef might boil down to this. Pelosi is an institutionalist, and Ocasio-Cortez is pointedly not interested in the traditions of her institution. In the midst of the Democratic shade-throwing stepped President Donald Trump, who last week attacked Ocasio-Cortez and the three other members of Congress who make up the squad. That attack seems to have provided an opening for the squad, Pelosi, and the rest of the Democrats to heal their rift and keep their eyes on the common foe, the president. Earlier this week, the Speaker successfully introduced a resolution condemning the president for attacking AOC and the three other members of Congress. All 235 Democrats supported it. This is the point where I would normally say, this is why you should care. But should you care about what sounds like a bunch of Washington squabbling? I'll let you decide. But here's what's important to me. President Trump is a bold, brash leader who has challenged the norms, traditions, and customs of our country. The American people will have a say in 2020 whether they approve of his politics or not. In the meantime, a strong opposition party will help hold the White House accountable, which is in all of our best interests. It appears that some of the largest drugstore chains in America might have been complicit in the exploding opioid crisis that's gripping the country. We're talking about CVS, Walgreens, and Rite Aid. You know the brands. The Washington Post crunched data from the Drug Enforcement Administration with some surprising results on what is called the addiction epidemic. Their report shows that early on, pharmacy giants pumped out 76 billion painkillers between 2006 and 2012. These companies are now embroiled in a large civil case. 2,000 cities, towns, and counties filed a suit against Big Pharma in a federal court in Cleveland. Plaintiffs contend that these companies are responsible for the national opioid crisis and argue drug manufacturers and distributors fuel the opioid problem while making billions. Here's why you should care. Drugs have been a huge problem in America for a couple of generations, and it's a good thing that America is treating this like a health crisis and not just a criminal matter. The opioid crisis is well documented, and evidence shows drug manufacturers produced and distributed drugs like OxyContin without any restraint. Sure, these pharmaceutical giants have paid out about $1 billion in settlements so far, and more will need to be paid. But the damage is done. Lives have been lost, families damaged forever. It should be alarming that Big Pharma, the DEA, and the Justice Department fought to keep this data secret from the public. But now we know. Addicts and families have been paying the price. Now all players are facing the music. Planned Parenthood ousted its new president after less than a year. Dr. Lena Nguyen had a tough act to follow as head of the organization that is a national healthcare provider and advocate for women's health. Nguyen, the first physician to head the organization in decades, followed a highly visible president in Cecile Richards, an outsized advocate for a woman's right to an abortion, and daughter of former Texas Governor Ann Richards. Nguyen is reported to have wanted to frame the abortion conversation inside of a broader fight for women's health, but many of Planned Parenthood's leaders disagreed. Here's why you should care. According to the Guttmacher Institute, 1 in 4 American women will have an abortion by the age of 45. These women are Black, white, Asian American, and Latino. They are poor and well off. They're single and married. How those women receive their reproductive health care is the question. If you care about a woman's right to choose, today's climate may hold the biggest threat to abortion in a half-century. State legislatures recently passed severely restrictive abortion bans that could end up before the Supreme Court. The court now has a strong conservative majority. The Trump administration jumped into the fray just yesterday, imposing new rules that restrict family planning organizations that receive federal funding from referring women for abortions. All of that hits Planned Parenthood pretty hard, and most of the group's leaders want to fight. For people on both sides of the access to abortion fight, the stakes haven't been greater in a long time. That does it for today's show. What'd you think? Let us know in the comments or join the conversation on social media using the hashtag Whisk. You can catch more of this show and other great content from Hill TV by subscribing to the Hill's YouTube channel. Be sure to click the bell so you get notified when we post new videos. And you can find me on Twitter at Jamal Simmons or at Real Jamal Simmons on Facebook and Instagram. That's why you should care. Catch you next time.